This man is about to go on his first date with a beautiful bouquet in his hand, but the very next moment, he opens a drain cover. Without any hesitation, he puts his hand inside. But don't worry, there's no treasure inside, just a small stray cat that's stuck there. He goes halfway in and after struggling a lot, finally manages to rescue the poor kitten. Just then, he remembers that it's time for his date. In a hurry, he hands the kitten to a girl standing nearby and rushes off. On the way, he calls his girlfriend to explain everything, but fate plays its trick. His first meeting with his future wife is limited to just a glance. Finally, he reaches his girlfriend, but there's a problem. His clothes start smelling weird. His girlfriend gets annoyed, and he helplessly explains that he just pulled a small cat out of the gutter. Hearing this, the girl is impressed, but still walks away, leaving him behind. Feeling sad, he sits alone and starts drinking. Just then, his eyes land on a soft toy, and for no reason, he gets even more frustrated. Meanwhile, another girl hears about an injustice happening to her friend and immediately rushes to the terrace. But the moment she arrives, she feels breathless for a second. A small gang suddenly tries to attack her, but she kicks one of them down in a totally cinematic style. Then a girl gang arrives, looking quite dangerous, but without hesitation, she takes them all down. Even the gang boss gets beaten badly. After leaving the terrace, she and her friend go out to celebrate, but their mood is ruined when they realize their snacks are all gone. Just then, the heartbroken guy arrives, holding that same soft toy in his hands. One of the girls sees him, and her heart starts racing. But just then, the guy throws the soft toy into the dustbin because it reminds him of his ex-girlfriend. Seeing his innocence, the friends come up with a brilliant plan. They send their most beautiful friend to approach him so that they can have a special moment together. But the guy feels awkward and tries to run away. The girl stops him and requests that he bring them 3 packs of a special brand of snacks, but the guy flat out refuses. Then she asks again in an adorably cute way, and seeing her innocent expression, he agrees. However, instead of snacks, he brings them just 1 packet of candies. Before leaving, he advises them to stay away from useless things and make the most of their youth. Hearing his words, the girl goes completely silent. Then, in a totally dramatic way, she takes a running jump and lands right in front of the guy. Without thinking twice, she kisses him. The guy is left in shock and tries to stop her, but it's already too late. Before leaving, the girl even blows him a flying kiss. Be honest, how many guys could handle a flirt like that? 3 years later, the guy has now become the owner of a convenience store. But the problem is that he's so handsome that girls only come to see him and don't actually buy anything. Because of this, his business is running at a loss, and only expired products are left in the store. On top of that, his father is sick, and he's handling everything alone. Despite working so hard, keeping the store running is becoming impossible. One night, exhausted, he falls asleep on a table. Just then, a beautiful girl stops in front of his store with a sweet smile on her face. She walks in and knocks on the table at the cash counter. The guy quickly wakes up, and the moment he sees her, he's completely shocked. Her beauty leaves him mesmerized. Then, she tells him, "I'm here to apply for the store assistant job." The guy instantly comes to his senses and without thinking, takes out a drink to welcome her. But just as he enters the welcoming zone, a sudden sharp pain hits his chest, and then, out of nowhere, he remembers. This is the same girl who kissed him 3 years ago. Realizing this, Daxian panics immediately. What's worse, he doesn't even notice that Jing Jing is already standing right behind him. When he looks at her, he wonders if she remembers him, so he secretly decides to reject her in the interview. But to his surprise, during the interview, Xing Xing answers every single question correctly. Daxian secretly glances at her and notices a bad girl tag on her face. His mind is already made up. At that moment, Xing Xing notices that Daxian looks exhausted, so she brings him a homemade herbal tea that helps with fatigue. Daxian sniffs the tea, but hesitates to drink it. Xing Xing understands his hesitation and makes an excuse to go to the washroom. As soon as she leaves, Daxian takes a sip or 2 of the tea. The tea works, and he falls asleep. When he wakes up, he sees an older man eating noodles and is shocked to find the store, which was usually empty, now filled with customers. This is all thanks to Xing Xing, who has been working as temporary staff. However, Daxian still doesn't want to hire her permanently, so Xing Xing starts crying in front of all the customers, and her trick works. Daxian has no choice but to hire her. The next day, when Xing Xing comes to work at the store, she impresses Daxian's mother with her sweet-talking skills. Daxian is confused because Xing Xing's behavior doesn't seem like that of a 22-year-old student. That same day, an older man comes to the store to exchange money, but Daxian later notices that 50,000 won is missing from the cash register. He remembers that Xing Xing was acting suspiciously near the register, and he even saw cash peeking out of her pocket. So he checks the CCTV footage, but it only shows Xing Xing's back. He tries calling her, but her phone is off. Daxian then searches online and finds a similar case. Using Xing Xing's contract, he tracks down her home address. When he reaches her house, he starts thinking that Xing Xing might be involved with a gang. To prepare himself, he begins exercising outside her house, unaware that people inside are watching him. When he rings the doorbell, the people inside pull him in. Daxian thought he was just looking for his employee, but he accidentally gets caught in a police raid. The police mistake him for a customer and arrest him. To make things even more confusing, the woman inside is also named Xing Xing. The police pin him to the floor, but Daxian quickly pulls out the contract and explains that he was looking for his employee because she stole money from the store. Realizing it was all a misunderstanding, the police let him go. When Daxian returns to the store, he finds that the missing cigarettes have been put back. Xing Xing proudly tells him that she organized all the cigarettes and even found 3 rare packs of Huazi. The cash has also been returned. Daxian is confused but doesn't ask too many questions. Just then, a female officer passes by the store and asks Daxian if he has found the thief employee. Xing Xing overhears this and realizes she is being called a thief. Furious, she storms out of the store. Daxian tries to stop her, but Xing Xing explains that her aunt needed money and that she would have explained the situation herself. She tells Daxian that he judged her without knowing the truth and walks away. Daxian is left trying to understand her. That night, Daxian goes to Xingjing's house, but no one answers. The next day, when Xingjing returned to the convenience store, Daxian immediately brought her a beef bento, but she ignored him. Seeing her cleaning, Daxian took the cloth from her hand and said, "I am the world's best microwave cleaner." Then he even cleaned the coffee machine. After finishing all the cleaning, he noticed that Xingjing was casually busy on her phone. Frustrated, he shouted, "Xingjing," just to get her attention. Then he finally apologized. "Everything that happened today was my fault. Please forgive me." That same day, Daxian went to pick up his girlfriend, but she refused, saying she had work. Daxian was disappointed, but replied, "It's okay, just seeing you is enough." That night, he eagerly waited for Xingjing's shift to end, but as soon as she walked inside, she caught a strong perfume scent. She assumed Daxian had worn it especially for her, but he casually said, "Oh, it's from my girlfriend. I'm going to meet her now." Without paying attention to anything else, he excitedly left as soon as his shift ended. When he arrived at the hotel, Daxian was thrilled, thinking he was about to impress his girlfriend, but the next second, he found himself in a gym. He awkwardly smiled, realizing that he had overthought things. His girlfriend had figured out his plan and said, "If you don't have stamina, you won't be able to do anything, so work out." Hearing that, Daxian started cycling with full energy. Just then, a message from Xingjing popped up on his phone, which his girlfriend noticed. She asked, "Who are you texting so excitedly?" Daxian casually replied, "She's a part-timer at the store." Then, his friend Ma Hua called, telling him that Xingjing and her best friend were having a full-on party at the store. Daxian immediately told his girlfriend that he had urgent business and rushed back to the store. His girlfriend, now irritated, said, "Aren't we supposed to be working out together?" But Daxian simply replied, "I've already sweat a lot," and ran off without another word. When he arrived at the store, he saw Xingjing showing off in front of her best friend, saying, "The manager does all the small chores in the store, and we can eat whatever we want." Her friends were totally impressed. Then Daxian walked in and realized that these were the same girls who had been causing trouble 3 years ago. He decided to get his revenge this time. When Xingjing saw him, she casually said, "Oh, Daxian, how did you get here so fast? We haven't even started eating yet." Then, laughing, she added, "By the way, are you British?" After saying that, she suddenly collapsed and fell asleep. Daxian scolded all three of them loudly, but Xingjing's friends quickly changed the topic. They told Daxian that he should apologize since he had wrongly accused Xingjing of stealing before. Then, they poured him a glass of alcohol and said, "Drink this, and we'll forgive you." At first, Daxian hesitated, but then they started mocking him, saying, "Looks like you're only handsome, but completely useless otherwise." Hearing that, Daxian drank the whole glass in one go to prove them wrong. What he didn't know was that his girlfriend was secretly watching everything. She was shocked to see that Daxian was ignoring her just to drink with Xingjing and her friends. When Daxian had already drunk too much, Xingjing's best friend finally revealed that 3 years ago, Xingjing actually liked him. Daxian laughed and said, "Forget the past, let's just enjoy tonight." But the moment he took another sip, he immediately passed out on his chair. Xingjing's best friends noticed that the two of them had fallen asleep in the same position and laughed, saying, "They look like the perfect couple." Just then, Xingjing woke up and saw Daxian sleeping right next to her. She turned to look at her best friends, but they had mischievous grins on their faces. They told her that they had already revealed her secret, that she used to like Daxian. At first, Xingjing got angry that they had told him without asking her, but then, out of curiosity, she asked, "So, what did Daxian say?" Xingjing gently woke Daxian up and helped him to the restroom. Watching him sleep so peacefully, she drifted into a dreamy state for a moment, but just as she was about to leave, Daxian suddenly grabbed her hand tightly. His words hit her straight in the heart. Xingjing blushed deeply, unable to control herself, but then she heard Daxian murmur his girlfriend's name. The sweet, dreamy Xingjing instantly transformed into an angry, furious Xingjing. Without thinking, she slapped him hard across the face, but one slap wasn't enough, so she turned back and slapped him again. On the other hand, Yanju couldn't sleep the entire night. Her mind was stuck on one question: was what she saw real or just her imagination? She thought about sending a message to Daxian, but immediately deleted it. After thinking a lot, she decided that the best thing to do was to just let it go. The next morning, as soon as Daxian woke up, his face was hurting. When he looked in the mirror, he saw that his nose was bleeding. He assumed he must have hit something. Covering his face with his hand, he stepped out of the restroom, only to be met with a cold stare from Xingjing. Daxian was confused. Why was she still here? Xingjing, still angry, said, "You were sleeping, so how was I supposed to leave?" Then she threw another attack. "Don't you have anything to say to me?" But instead of responding, Daxian just started yelling. As soon as Xingjing left, Yanju's message popped up. She had invited him to dinner. She wanted to make him admit his mistake, so she took him to a fancy restaurant. Daxian indirectly hinted that he was in the mood for spicy food, but Yanju immediately set a trap and said, "Oh, so you have a hangover, right?" Daxian quickly denied it. No, I just feel like eating spicy food twice a week." But Yanju calmly responded, "Why didn't you say that earlier? The order is already placed." Daxian started sweating, realizing that she was testing him. To break the awkward silence, he tried to change the topic and asked, "By the way, why did you delete your message last night?" Yanju coolly replied, "I sent it by mistake." Then she threw another attack. "So before dinner, were you only going to ask if I was busy or not?" Daxian's brain froze. He didn't know how to respond, so he just quietly focused on his food, praising the chef to make the atmosphere feel normal. That night, Xingjing received a video from her bestie. Her bestie said, "Watch this, and your whole perspective will change." Xingjing casually played the video, but as soon as she saw it, her phone almost slipped from her hand. In the video, Daxian was doing a funny dance. She burst out laughing and thought to herself, "Wow, not only is he smart, but he can dance well too." New emotions started stirring in her heart for Daxian. At that moment, without thinking, Xingjing started copying Daxian's dance moves. Meanwhile, at his home, Daxian had just freshened up and was chilling. Suddenly, he started started dancing in his room with full energy. First, he did rhythmic moves, then smooth wave hands, and finally, a dramatic scissors pose. After finishing his dance, he relaxed and casually checked the store's CCTV on his phone. When he saw that Xingjing was doing the exact same dance moves he had just done, a teasing smile appeared on his face. Their movements were perfectly in sync. And then, things got even crazier. Suddenly, both of them appeared in new outfits in a convenience store, doing an old-school disco dance. At the end of the dance, they hugged each other and shared a soft kiss. But then, splash! Xingjing's dream shattered. She looked around in shock and realized it was just a daydream. But one thing was certain, her heart was now truly beating for Daxian. But this time, a few thugs noticed her. They laughed and mocked her. Ha! She looks completely crazy. And where is that weak old man, Daxian? Then, when they checked out, they deliberately dropped a bunch of small coins all over the floor. To avoid causing unnecessary trouble for Daxian, Xingjing chose to stay silent. But the thugs weren't done. After finishing their meal, they left their garbage right there. Xingjing politely requested them to pick it up, but they ignored her and walked out. Her patience was now being tested even more. The next day, the checkout counter, while the other two secretly stuffed store products into their pockets. When they casually said they didn't want to buy anything, Xingjing's inner volcano erupted. This time, she canceled her plan to stay silent and immediately told her bestie to watch the store while she ran straight after the fearless expression. She said, "Pay for what you stole." The thugs smirked and acted tough. "Your boss ignores us, so who do you think you are?" One of them added, "I don't hit women, so if you're smart, just leave." But when the thug in the red jacket saw that Xingjing wasn't scared at all, he called for reinforcements. What they didn't realize was that they were about to face. She finished them off with a final Foshan no shadow kick, defeating the entire thug gang with ease. As the thugs started begging for mercy, Xingjing gave them a proper lecture. "Make a list of everything you stole and go pay for it at the store." Meanwhile, Ma Hua had secretly recorded everything on video. The moment Xingjing noticed, he panicked and tried to hide in a corner while quickly calling Daxian. Xingjing walked up to him and asked, "Did you see anything?" Ma Hua, with a completely scared face, said, "I have night blindness. At night, I can only recognize things by their smell." Xingjing smirked and shook his hand. Smart choice. She sighed in relief and thought, "Oh, so this is Daxian's new part-timer?" Feeling reassured, she left. But as soon as she stepped outside, she removed her glasses and started doubting herself. Was I really stressing over just some curly-haired girl? Meanwhile, Daxian was super excited because he had prepared a special gift for his girlfriend's father's birthday. But when he called her, Yanju directly refused. "Papa's health isn't great, so we'll just have a simple celebration at home." Daxian felt simple celebration at home, but the reality was completely different. The biggest shock came when he saw her father happily talking to another man, even inviting him over for wine at their house. Daxian hid in a corner, his emotions a mess, anger, sadness, and betrayal. He saw someone else sitting in his place, giving the gift that he had planned for his eyes that he couldn't walk away from. He just stood there, silently watching, his mind stuck on one thought. Was all of this happening while I was being ignored? He returned to his reunion table, but he felt completely lost inside. Then suddenly, he burst into laughter, as if mocking his own situation. Back home, he used the Dao Shi app, which Xingjing had recommended, to check his daily luck. The prediction said, joy and sorrow together. And it was absolutely true. That entire night, he just drowned his emotions in alcohol, trying to numb the pain. The next day, the following morning, Daxian finally decided to text Yanju and ask her what the meaning of last night was. But just as he started typing, a group of students entered the store, distracting him. The students wanted to take a group photo with him. But right then, Yanju called. She invited him to dinner that night, and without those students were our only afternoon customers. Now, what do we do? Daxian promised that he would put in double the effort the next day, but for now, he had to leave for dinner. His mother, giving him a confused look, continued handling the store. That night, at the hot pot restaurant, Yanju didn't play any mind games and directly told Daxian was about to say something, but Yanju interrupted. "Chunjun and I have been childhood friends. I only see him as a good friend. Don't get the wrong idea." A wave of relief washed over Daxian. Casually, he said, "Of course, I trust you." But inside, he was already doing a victory dance. With the misunderstanding cleared up, the two of them happily walked through the streets, holding hands. Passing by a new nightclub, Dajian got excited and said, "Let's go inside." He didn't notice Dajian. Inside the club, everything was chill until Yanju went to the washroom. There, she encountered a thug-like girl, fox mask girl, who was blocking the way. She casually said, "If you want to go quickly, crawl under me." Yanju angrily pushed her hand away and went into the washroom. Fox mask girl didn't like this actually Shin Shin. Yanju immediately blamed Shin Shin. She's also in league with those people. Without any proof or hearing Shin Shin's side, Dajian stopped trusting her. He just said one line, "Take care of yourself from now on," and left with Yanju. Shin Shin was in full heartbreak mode. Later, when Dajian dropped Yanju home, she said, "I think Shin Shin should be fired from the store. She's not fit to work there." Dajian was hesitant because he had misunderstood Shin Shin before. But Yanju directly said, "You should seriously think about it," and made a dramatic exit. When Dajian returned to the store, Ma Hua told him, "Bro, do you want to see the truth about Shin Shin?" He showed him the CCTV footage, which clearly showed that Shin Shin had actually saved the girls at the club. Dajian was in full shock mode. He thought, was I wrong again? He saw Shin Shin's work uniform in the staff room and let out a regretful sigh. Then his eyes fell on Shin Shin's personal notebook. As he flipped through the pages, each one was filled with memories of the convenience store. Small details, her notes, memories. This wasn't just a job for her, it was a special place. Just as Dajian was looking at this, the store bell rang. Someone had entered. It was none other than Shin Shin's bestie. She came up to Dajian in full attitude mode and said, "Aren't you ashamed of blaming Shin Shin without any reason? This time she saved your girlfriend. You should be thanking her." Hearing this, Dajian was filled with regret. He decided not to waste any more time and rushed out to hail a taxi. But either the taxis were already full or the drivers said they weren't going in that direction. He got frustrated and said, "Why is my luck so bad today?" Then, in a cinematic moment, Xin passed by on a scooter, but Da Xian didn't even notice her. He finally decided to meet Xin directly and apologize. After the bathroom misunderstanding, he wanted Xin to forgive him, so he came up with an idea. "If you're angry, you can hit me." Xin confirmed, "Really? I have the full right?" Da Xian confidently said, "Absolutely." What happened next? Xin didn't waste a second. She took a step back, then delivered a high kick that sent Da Xian airborne. He literally flew 100 meters in the air and then landed flat on the ground. Meanwhile, back at the convenience store, tension was high. Ma Hua had eaten something wrong in the morning and kept running to the bathroom. Customers were lined up, and there was no one at the checkout counter. Everyone was getting impatient. Just when it seemed like Ma Hua couldn't hold on for another second, Xin entered the store at the perfect timing. Ma Hua didn't waste a second, took off his uniform and said, "I have to leave this to you," and sprinted straight to the restroom. That day, Da Xian and his family checked the store's sales report and were shocked. The store's revenue had tripled. Everyone was overjoyed. His mom excitedly said, "This is all because of Xin." Then Da Xian received a notification on his phone. Xin had been awarded Employee of the Month. He got so excited that he started fumbling his words. His dad took the phone, zoomed in, and the whole family started a victory dance. His mom was so happy that she started singing a song. It seemed like it was time to open a second branch. When Xin came for her night shift, Da Xian stood in front of her in full dramatic style and said, "Guess what? You've been named Employee of the Month." He started dancing, celebrating her in his own way. Xin was very happy inside, but she tried her best to control her expressions and asked Da Xian if he had something to say to her earlier. Da Xian, not daring to bring up the topic of firing her, quickly changed the subject. Xingxing didn't think much of it, but felt the celebration was too simple. She asked if he could lift her up to celebrate, but Da Xian refused and turned to leave. Xingxing chased after him, saying at least he could carry her on his back. Da Xian told her not to push her luck, but the next moment, Xingxing was stunned. Da Xian handed her a carefully prepared bouquet of flowers. Xingxing was caught off guard, not expecting Da Xian to give her flowers, especially her favorite pink roses. Da Xian said the flowers symbolized gratitude and honesty, not realizing they also represented a vow of love. Xingxing felt overwhelmed with happiness and joked that being carried on his back would make it even better. Da Xian, feeling helpless, finally agreed to carry her for 3 seconds, but Xingxing started acting spoiled and refused to get off his back. Just then, Yanju suddenly walked in. The cheerful atmosphere instantly turned awkward. Da Xian hurriedly explained they were just celebrating, and Xingxing said it was all a joke. Yanju, surprisingly calm, invited Xingxing to join them for a celebratory meal. Feeling uneasy, Da Xian declined, saying someone needed to watch the store. At that moment, Ma Hua coincidentally walked in. The three of them stared at him, and both Da Xian and Xingxing could sense his mood. Yanju took them to a high-end restaurant. The manager greeted them warmly, but Xingxing, dressed simply, was looked down upon. When ordering, Xingxing struggled with the English menu, earning a mocking laugh from Yanju. Yanju then deliberately discussed expensive wines with the manager and asked Da Xian to pour her wine, asserting her dominance. Xingxing felt defeated. The meal was tense, and Da Xian felt uncomfortable throughout. As they left, Yanju and Da Xian walked hand in hand, while Xingxing trailed behind, feeling lonely. Da Xian received a call from the store about a delivery. Yanju, annoyed by his loud voice, let go of his hand and told him to speak softly, pretending not to know him. After the call, Da Xian assigned work to Xingxing and offered to take Yanju home, but she refused. Just then, Li Xu, who had a crush on Yanju, appeared. Seeing his girlfriend leave with another man, Da Xian felt uneasy. Meanwhile, Xingxing stole some money from the store. When Da Xian returned home, he saw that Yanju hadn't replied to his messages. Reflecting on the day's events, he fell into deep thought. A daughter took her mother to a clothing store and told her to pick anything she liked. The mother, who hadn't bought clothes in a long time, was thrilled. But when she went to pay, the cashier said her daughter had left in a hurry, taking a 250,000 won dress without paying. The mother, feeling cheated, paid for the dress herself. Back at the store, seeing her daughter wearing the new dress, the mother was furious and scolded her. Her husband also came out wearing new clothes, saying it must be a gift from their son. The mother was even angrier. Da Xian, returning to the store, unknowingly became the scapegoat. Feeling betrayed by her daughter and ignored by her son, the mother felt heartbroken. She angrily said she wouldn't give an interview. When Xingxing arrived at the store, she was interviewed as the Employee of the Month. Although the interview was only about Xingxing, Da Xian's family was excited and enthusiastic. After the interview, the reporter asked Da Xian to take a promotional photo with Xingxing on his back. Da Xian was reluctant, fearing Yanju would see it and misunderstand, but his family insisted, saying it was for the store's benefit. Da Xian finally agreed, after confirming the photo would only be used internally. That night, Da Xian's family celebrated with Xingxing. Da Xian received the promotional photo and noticed it had been cropped. Worried, he called the reporter and learned the article would be shared on social media, meaning Yanju would see it. Da Xian tried calling Yanju to explain, but she didn't answer. Yanju saw the photo and turned to alcohol to calm down. Da Xian, unable to reach her, waited outside her house, only to see Yanju being carried home drunk by Li Shi, who was spinning her around. Da Xian, knowing they were childhood friends, felt hurt. Seeing Li Shi easily enter Yanju's house, while he had never been invited in 3 years of dating, Da Xian felt a mix of emotions. He turned away from Yanju's house, heartbroken. A girl was cleaning up trash on the table when someone sneaked up behind her and hit her on the head with a stick, knocking her out. The attacker was the red light, green light trio. Thinking they had killed her, they panicked and ran away. Da Xian, passing by, overheard their nervous chatter and recognized them as the thugs Xingxing had taught a lesson earlier. Realizing something was wrong, Da Xian rushed back to the store and found Xingxing unconscious on the the floor. He quickly took her to the hospital, where the doctor said she had a ruptured appendix and needed immediate surgery. Daxian was confused. The next day, Xing Xing's friends visited her in the hospital, crying uncontrollably. Seeing she was okay, they scolded her for hiding the incident. If they hadn't accidentally beaten up Ma Hua at the store, they wouldn't have known about Xing Xing's condition. After calming them down, Xing Xing's friends left and informed her younger sister, Yin Sheng, about the incident. Yin Sheng, who thought her sister was invincible, was shocked when her friends sent her photos. She confronted the red light green light trio, hitting the red-haired girl with a nail. When the red-haired girl tried to fight back, Yin Sheng knocked her down. The green-haired girl came to help, but Xing Xing's friends arrived to support Yin Heng. Seeing they were outnumbered, the trio called for backup. A thug tried to grope Yin Heng, but was slapped instead. Enraged, the thug prepared to retaliate, but Xing Xing arrived on a skateboard. Her friends had informed her about Yin Heng's plan. Seeing Xing Xing, the trio backed off, but the thugs mocked her. Xing Xing, unfazed, easily defeated them. The trio fled, and Xing Xing's friends admired her. They danced around her in celebration. Meanwhile, Yanju's mother investigated Daxian's background and visited the convenience store. She ordered 1 million won worth of goods, demanding delivery to her home. Daxian's father, working at the store, agreed. When Daxian returned, he was surprised by the large order. His father proudly claimed it was his doing. Daxian, not wanting to argue, hoped to turn the customer into a regular. Unaware of what was coming, Daxian delivered the goods to Yanju's house. Seeing it was Yanju's home, he was shocked. Yanju's mother handed him a tip, humiliating him in front of Yanju, who didn't intervene. Daxian awkwardly accepted the tip and left. Yanju's mother ordered the servants to throw away the purchased items. Realizing her mistake, Yanju called Daxian, telling him not to mind her mother's actions. Daxian, though saying it was okay, was visibly upset. He went to a bridge, reflecting on how his dignity had been crushed while Yanju did nothing. He finally understood why Yanju had never introduced him to her parents in 3 years of dating. Tearing up, Daxian wiped his eyes. Meanwhile, Yanju kept calling Daxian, but he didn't answer. She went to the store, but Daxian's mother said he wasn't there and might be at the hospital visiting Xing Xing. Yanju rushed to the hospital and, finding only Xing Xing in the room, decided to take action. She told Xing Xing that since her arrival, she and Daxian had been constantly fighting over misunderstandings. Xing Xing, feeling guilty, resigned the next day. Daxian was confused, but Xing Xing explained she had wanted to quit for a while, but stayed to prove she wasn't a bad person. After leaving the store, Xing Xing worked hard to support her sister, delivering food during the day and promoting at restaurants at night. However, fate wasn't kind. One day, Xing Xing returned home to find people packing their belongings. Their landlord had scammed them, and they had to move out. Homeless, Xing Xing and her sister spent the night at a sauna. Her sister thanked Xing Xing for her care and promised to repay her in the future. Xing Xing's mood improved, but the next morning, her sister was gone, leaving a note and taking all their savings. Devastated, Xing Xing broke down. That night, Daxian's mother was told that the part-time girl from the store was living in a sauna after being scammed by her landlord. Concerned, she rushed to the sauna to find the girl. Meanwhile, Daxian invited Yanju to an opera on their 3-year anniversary, but Yanju seemed uneasy. She had already accepted an invitation from a director, but couldn't refuse Daxian outright. The next day, she called Daxian, saying an important client had come to the company and she couldn't make it. Daxian, though disappointed, told her it was okay. That night, Daxian sat alone at the opera, feeling out of place. Unbeknownst to him, Yanju was also there, accompanying the director and the client. Returning home, Daxian heard a noise and saw a woman in white coming down the stairs. Startled, he realized it was Xing Xing. His mother explained she had brought Xing Xing home to stay the night. Daxian protested, not wanting Yanju to misunderstand, but his mother insisted. The next day, Daxian bought expensive tickets to the musical, hoping to make up for the missed opera. He called Yanju to share the news. That night, they went to the theater, but Daxian apologized for the poor seats. Yanju, though saying it was okay, wasn't happy. After the show, Daxian surprised her with a backstage pass to meet the director. Yanju, trying to avoid being recognized, wore a mask. Li Shi, passing by, saw this. After taking photos, Daxian suggested they go somewhere else, but Yanju said she wasn't feeling well and left in a taxi without saying goodbye. Daxian, standing alone, felt their relationship was drifting apart. Exhausted, he went to a bar where Zhao Li Shi, who had a crush on him, comforted him. Meanwhile, Daxian called Yanju to check if she got home safely, but she didn't answer. Unbeknownst to him, Yanju was in someone else's arms. Xing Xing received a call from the mayor, informing her she had won the sales championship. Reluctantly, she went to the company to collect her award. In the elevator, she bumped into Yanju. Though they greeted each other politely, there was tension. At the award ceremony, Xing Xing wore the champion uniform and received cash and musical tickets. The person presenting the award was Director Zhao. After the ceremony, Xing Xing confronted Yanju, accusing her of lying and going to the musical with Director Zhao instead of Daxian. Yanju said it was none of Xing Xing's business, but Xing Xing argued that she had quit her job to avoid causing trouble between Yanju and Daxian, only to find out Yanju had deceived her. Reflecting on her relationship with Daxian, Yanju regretted her actions and rushed to the store to find him, but Daxian wasn't there, and Ma Hua told her he had gone home. Yanju went to Daxian's house, but his mother, recognizing her, invited her in. Meanwhile, Ma Hua informed Daxian that Yanju had come looking for him. Daxian, realizing the situation, rushed home. As he arrived, Xing Xing walked in, and Yanju, seeing them together, left without listening to Daxian's explanations. Daxian chased after her, but Yanju refused to listen and took a taxi, leaving him heartbroken. Xing Xing, feeling guilty, followed Daxian to the store. Seeing he wasn't angry, she asked why he hadn't told Yanju she had quit. Daxian said he never got the chance. That night, Daxian sat at the counter, reflecting on Yanju's anger and the unanswered messages. Crying, he decided not to let their relationship relationship fall apart. He went to Yeonju's house, introducing himself to her mother as her boyfriend and asking her not to interfere in their relationship. Yeonju's mother agreed, but secretly investigated Dajian's family. She called Dajian's mother, offering to sign a high-value insurance policy. Dajian's mother, thrilled, didn't realize Yeonju's mother was mocking her son. Meanwhile, Yeonju's mother hired Dajian's father as a driver for Yeonju, paying him a high salary. Dajian's father, realizing he was working for Yeonju's family, felt awkward. That night, Dajian's family celebrated their good fortune, but Dajian couldn't share their joy. The next day, Yeonju texted Dajian, asking to meet. They went to Ahwogodian, where Yeonju bluntly broke up with him. Despite Dajian's efforts to won Hui, Yeonju left without looking back, getting into a luxury car with director Zhao. Dajian, heartbroken, returned to the store. His mother, unaware of the breakup, urged him to ask Yeonju for her birth details. Dajian, pretending to be fine, sent her away and returned to the counter, feeling defeated. The next day, Yeonju's mother promoted her to a high position in the company, revealing her status as the daughter of a major shareholder. Dajian, learning that his ex-girlfriend was a wealthy heiress, felt betrayed. He confronted Yeonju, asking why she had hidden her identity. Yeonju accused him of being entangled with Xing, saying he was the one who had deceived her. Dajian, shocked by her accusations, saw his father, who was now working as Yeonju's driver. Realizing his family had been humiliated, Dajian lashed out at Yeonju for emphasizing the gap between them. Yeonju didn't explain and walked away. Dajian, heartbroken, left. His mother, witnessing everything, felt immense pain. She went to Yeonju's house to finalize the insurance policy. Swallowing her pride, she told Yeonju's mother that her daughter's boyfriend was also someone's precious child, and they shouldn't judge based on wealth. Meanwhile, Dajian's father, seeing his son's pain, quit his job. He returned home, bought his wife's favorite chicken feet, and they drank together, comforting each other without mentioning the day's events. Dajian, heartbroken, sat by the sea, drinking to numb his pain. Xing appeared like a ray of sunshine. Dajian, thinking he was hallucinating, pinched her face, but Xing didn't mind. She listened to his woes and drank with him. Seeing the man she loved crying like a child, Xing felt heartbroken. She carried the drunk Dajian to a hotel and watched him sleep, finally confessing her feelings. She had loved him since he saved her as a child, and her love had lasted 10 years. When Dajian opened his convenience store, fate brought them together again. Every day, Xing would pass by the store just to see him, no matter the weather. She had loved him from afar for years. One day, Yeonju came to the store for some official work. His reunion with Dajian felt a bit awkward. Yeonju shared the good news about a promotional video he was about to shoot, but Dajian didn't seem too happy about it and left quickly. On the day of the shoot, Dajian and Xing worked together seamlessly, their chemistry evident. Yeonju, watching from the side, felt a pang of jealousy. During the shoot, Dajian got into an argument with a former supervisor from the company. Yeonju, hearing about it, came to apologize with Xiaopang. Dajian, being polite, bowed his head in response, but Xing pulled him up, not wanting him to bow to anyone. She declared that if anyone tried to bully Dajian, she would protect him like a guardian angel. After the shoot, Yeonju called director Zhao, complaining about how he didn't fit in with the community. Dajian's mother overheard the conversation and scolded Yeonju, leaving him embarrassed. The promotional video went viral, boosting the store's sales. At the company, Xiaopang praised Yeonju's abilities, but also teased Dajian for being so cool. In a moment of carelessness, Xiaopang revealed a secret from years ago. Yeonju, suspicious, checked the old work records and found that Dajian's name was listed as the responsible person for a project Yeonju had handled. Under pressure, Xiaopang confessed that years ago, when Yeonju had made a mistake at work, Director Zhao had threatened Dajian, forcing him to take the blame to protect Yeonju. 3 years ago, Dajian had willingly taken the fall to protect his girlfriend, but now he was being betrayed by her. Yeonju, realizing the truth, felt deep regret and decided to win Dajian back. That night, he confronted Dajian, asking why he hadn't told him the truth. After pouring his heart out, Yeonju hugged Dajian, hoping to reconcile, but Dajian pushed him away, saying he had moved on and started a new life. Yeonju, however, didn't give up. He proposed to the company's chairman that Dajian be appointed as a consultant for the franchise division. The chairman agreed, and Yeonju went to the store to deliver the news. Dajian, feeling unqualified, politely declined. Yeonju tried to persuade him, but Dajian firmly asked him to leave, saying he had to take over Xing's shift and didn't want her to misunderstand. Yeonju left feeling awkward. Later, Yeonju waited outside Dajian's house. When Dajian's mother returned, he greeted her, but she was still cold towards him. Yeonju didn't mind and told her about the company's offer. Dajian's mother, excited about her son's future, she immediately became interested. She said, "I will talk to Dajian. He will definitely agree." Yeonju was happy to hear this. Just then, Xing came out of the house. As soon as her mother saw her, her entire attitude changed. Her face was filled with love and affection, as if she was looking at her own daughter. Yeonju stood awkwardly to the side, clearly feeling the comparison being made. Soon, the mother went inside, and the tension between Xing and Yeonju instantly increased. On his mother's insistence, Dajian decided to join the company, but deep down, he wasn't excited at all. However, when he confidently and smartly handled his first day, everyone was impressed. Yeonju admired him, feeling a new attraction growing inside her. In the evening, Dajian bought a bouquet from a flower shop. His face glowed with happiness, but as he approached the convenience store, he felt a little nervous. He saw Xing inside and slowly opened the door. Meanwhile, Yeonju was sitting in her car, reminiscing about Dajian's dazzling personality. She suddenly regretted her breakup. She immediately told the driver, "Turn the car around, I need to go to the convenience store." But when she reached the store, she saw something that made her realize someone else had taken her place. Xing and Dajian looked happy together. Seeing this, Yeonju had only one option left: left to quietly leave. But she wasn't one to give up without a plan. She immediately called her mother to meet at a bar and said, "I will get Daxian back, no matter what." The next day was Daxian's first official day, and Yeonju deliberately paired herself with him. They were sent to inspect a convenience store, but the store manager didn't like them at all. He said directly, "We don't need corporate people here." Then he tried to push Yeonju, but Daxian reflexively saved her and ended up injuring his wrist in the process. When Shinshin found out Daxian was injured, she rushed to the hospital without thinking. As soon as she entered the room, she saw Yeonju was already there. In anger, she immediately pushed her away. Yeonju said in a manipulative tone, "He got hurt because of me, so I'm taking care of him." Just then, Daxian regained consciousness and without hesitation asked Shinshin, "How was your exam?" He only gave a formal hello to Yeonju. Seeing this, Yeonju felt a strange emotion, jealousy and disappointment. She awkwardly left with a forced smile, but as she left the room, she overheard Daxian and Shinshin's conversation, and her heart grew heavier. A few days later, Yeonju came to this convenience store with a new contract. She proposed turning the store into a direct outlet for the company. "We will appoint a new manager and make Shinshin the assistant manager," she formally announced. But her real motive was something else. She was secretly trying to get back to Daxian. Just then, Daxian received an urgent call and quickly left. Yeonju immediately tried to win over his mother. She praised Daxian excessively and gave his mother an expensive gift. The mother was overjoyed. Seeing all this, Shinshin felt very uneasy. She quietly left the store, but Yeonju followed her. With a winning smile, she said, "See, I get what I want." That night, Yeonju directly invited Daxian's mother for dinner. The mother, already impressed, didn't refuse. After dinner, when the mother had a few drinks, she showered Daxian with praise. Then she directly said, "Daxian, you should settle down with Yeonju. She's the best for you." In her drunk state, the mother hugged Yeonju and gave her approval. Shinshin quietly observed all this. She felt a mix of emotions: sadness, frustration, and helplessness. When Daxian finally dropped Yeonju home, Shinshin tried to take care of Daxian's mother, but the drunk mother mistakenly called her Yeonju. Hearing this, Shinshin's heart broke. But out of respect for the mother, she just gave a fake smile and suppressed her emotions. Seeing all this, Daxian argued with his mother for the first time. He couldn't understand how his mother's opinion had changed so drastically just because of Yeonju's manipulative tactics. The mother pressured him, "You should settle down with her." But Daxian had already decided he wouldn't accept his past. He took a firm stance and clearly told his mother, "I won't change my decision." The mother and son got into a serious argument. For the first time, their relationship turned into a major fight. And now, Daxian was about to make a final decision. Daxian finally made his decision. He invited Yeonju to dinner, where he clearly told her that they had no future together and he had already moved on, so Yeonju should move on with her life too. His words were so direct that Yeonju wanted to say something, but it felt like her words got stuck in her throat. The next day, Shinshin arrived at the store for her usual shift, but the new manager and a new employee's attitude ruined her day from the start. The new manager, known as Chubby Boss, and a short-haired girl who was unnecessarily rude. She shook Shinshin's hand coldly and tried to intimidate her, but Shinshin countered her immediately, ruining her first impression. To cover up her first defeat, Chubby Boss deliberately told Shinshin to redo the shelves arrangement, so she would know she no longer had authority in the store. But Shinshin, thinking of not causing more trouble for Daxian, quietly did the work. After finishing, when she went to the restroom, her mind was filled with memories of the store, moments spent with Daxian, the study table she had specially arranged for him, their fun fights, the drunk night's hilarious brawl, and the warmth when she was injured and Daxian took care of her. All the memories came flooding back, making her realize everything had changed. Now she couldn't even see Daxian's warm smile. With a broken heart, Shinshin went home that night, where she saw Daxian's mother sitting sadly on the bed. She asked her what happened, and the mother told her that Daxian had argued with her for the first time, and she couldn't understand how what she thought was best for her son could be wrong. Shinshin understood that the mother only wanted the best for Daxian, and she thought that if reconciling with his mother was the best for him, she should support it. At dinner that night, she tried to convince Daxian to apologize to his mother, but Daxian didn't want to compromise this time. Shinshin looked at him and realized if Daxian wanted a successful future, he had to move forward, and if he had to move forward, perhaps her staying there would be an obstacle for him. Thinking this, she finally decided to leave the place. That night, without any noise, she packed her things, took one last look at the store and the house, then quietly went downstairs. She gave a final glance toward Daxian's room, where he was peacefully sleeping. This was her final goodbye. The next day, when Daxian went to Shinshin's room, he only saw a small gift and a letter. When he realized Shinshin had really left, he panicked and called her, but her phone was already switched off. He immediately went to the police station, but there was no lead there either. Feeling hopeless and broken, he stood in front of the convenience store and looked inside. The place that was once so familiar now felt like a stranger. Everywhere, there were only memories of Shinshin. Her leaving was an unexpected shock for him. When he got home, he only ate a plain cup of noodles, but without Shinshin, even a normal meal felt tasteless. Meanwhile, Shinshin started living a quiet life in a village, where she began working in a small nursery, gardening. One night, while working, she saw some thugs threatening a child, and without thinking, she confronted them and effortlessly defeated them. But when she returned the child's money, instead of thanking her, the child complained that Shinshin had interfered without reason. Elsewhere, Mahua took his girlfriend to his hometown, and that girlfriend was none other than Shinshin's best friend, Jinfei. The one who used to just have fun had now developed a deep connection with Mahua. But the biggest twist was that Mahua, who always seemed carefree and lazy, was actually a hidden rich heir. His house was so big that even Jinfei was shocked. The guy who always chilled had a family mansion that was no less than a palace. Helicopters were used to to spray pesticides in the fields. And then Ma Hua's dad officially planned to take them home. But Ma Hua secretly tracked the location. Without telling anyone, he hid in a garden area and watched, and as soon as he confirmed Xinxin was there, he immediately called Daxian. Daxian rushed there at full speed, and as soon as he saw the most important person in his life, a storm of emotions rose in his heart. Xinxin was also emotional inside, but she remembered her decision and tried to leave. Dadian tried to stop her, but just then, the injured thugs from the previous night arrived with their boss for revenge. Dabian tried to take a heroic stance and start the fight, but with the first kick, he fell to the ground. True definition of handsome but useless in fights. Seeing this, Xinxin went into full rage mode. She turned her towel into a weapon and effortlessly defeated all the thugs in seconds. Even the big thug was powerless against her scissor lock move. Then she looked at Daxian and asked anxiously, "Are you okay?" They had a heartfelt conversation where Daxian promised to respect Xinxin's decision. Finally, Daxian brought up the little girl who had asked for his help 10 years ago, who was actually Xinxin. He realized Xinxin had been waiting for him, and now it was his turn to wait for her. Daxian resigned from his high-profile job without hesitation, and when Yanju tried to stop him one last time, he just gave a calm smile and left. Yanju finally understood she had lost Daxian forever. That night, she sat at a roadside stall and told her mom she was moving abroad. Her mom opposed it, but her decision was final. That same day, a rich lady called Daxian's mom and revealed that 3 years ago, Daxian had left the company only for Yanju. The mom realized she had blindly forced Yanju and Daxian to get back together, putting pressure on her son. She finally understood Xinxin's perspective, who only wanted the best for Daxian's future. The mom became emotional and realized how much her mistake must have hurt Xinxin. When Daxian explained that his ultimate goal was his parents' simple and happy life, the mom's heart melted. For the first time, she listened to Daxian's real feelings, and tears filled her eyes. Later, Xinxin received her official exam qualification letter and jumped with excitement. But the problem was, her certificate was delivered directly to Daxian's house. That night, without telling anyone, she sneaked into Daxian's house to find the certificate. Just as she was flipping through the papers, Daxian's parents suddenly returned home. Scared, Xinxin quickly hid in a corner. Xinxin was hiding in a corner, but when she heard Daxian had resigned from his job, she couldn't control her emotions and reacted loudly. Hearing her voice, Daxian's parents immediately saw her. The mom came over and asked with concern, "Xinxin, are you okay?" Hearing this, Xinxin's tears couldn't stop. She just cried without saying anything. Daxian was left alone at the convenience store. Without Xinxin, his days felt completely empty. He worked for 3 days and 3 nights without a break, without any complaints, just hoping Xinxin would return. His mind was filled with only one thought: if anything happens, I'll rush to her immediately. It kept looping, as if every moment was filled with memories of Xinxin. One day, when Daxian finally locked the store and sat down to take a break, he saw Xinxin standing in front of him. Her eyes showed the same love and longing Daxian felt every day. Xinxin softly said, "Do you know how much I miss you?" Tears filled Daxian's eyes. "I miss you even more." He stepped forward and held Xinxin's hand. "Every little thing in the store, every moment reminds me of you." Xinxin softly said, "I want to say thank you. You waited. You called me back. You gave me a home." Daxian looked at her gently and said, "You don't need to go anywhere else. Just stay with me forever." He hesitantly asked, "Can I hug you?" Xinxin smiled slightly and blushed. "No, I'll hug you first." And in that moment, they finally embraced each other. At the same time, Ma Hua, who had now become a professional manga artist, decided to turn their story into a manga. He named it Convenience Store Star. And so Daxian and Xinxin's story reached a perfect ending. And with this, the story comes to an end.